All right, let's solve the question above. Said a simple supported beam and its its cross section are shown. You can see this is a simple supported beam. All right, the beam carries a load 20 kilonewton as shown. You can see a point load 20 kilonewton and a self weight, that is a UDL of 7 kilonewton per meter. And we are told to calculate the maximum normal stresses at this section. So for us to solve this question, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to calculate the bending moment across this section. And for us to do that, we need to know what reaction at A is and reaction at B is. So we are going to start by finding the summation of our upward forces to be equals to 0, upward force positive, downward force negative. So the sum of upward forces is reaction at A plus reaction at B, which will be equals to 20, which is the point load, plus our uniform distributed load here, which is 7, multiplied by what? The total distance it covers. It is 3.6. All right. So reaction at A plus reaction at B will be equals to 7 multiplied by 3.6 plus 20 is going to give us nothing but what? 45.2. So let's call this equation number 1. All right. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to take the summation of moment about point A to be equals to what? 0. All right. So this is our point A. So we are taking our moment towards that side. So it's going to be RB multiplied by the total distance. RB multiplied by 3.6 equals to our downward force, which is 20, which is going to multiply the total distance here is 2.4 plus then our uniform distributed load, which is 7. Then it's going to multiply the total distance, which is 3.6. Then don't forget, it's going to add at half of the what? Half of the distance, half of the total distance it covers towards point A. So it's going to be multiplied by 3.6 divided by 2. All right. So if we do this, we are going to have 3.6 RB to be equals to, if you sum everything that we have here together, you are going to have this to be 93.36. All right. So for us to get our ROB, we are going to divide both sides by 3.6. So 93.36 divided by 3.6 is going to give us what? So if you divide this by this, you are going to get your reaction at B to be equals to 25.93 kilonewton. So our reaction at A will be equals to, if you make your reaction at A the subject, there's going to be 45.2 minus ROB. That is 45.2 minus 25.93, which is going to give us what? 19.27 kilonewton. All right, so that is what we are going to have. All right, so now the next thing now is to calculate our bending moment across this section. That is bending moment. Let's calculate the bending moment across this section. I want to write it. Okay, let's say bending moment about section 1. All right. So let's now denote it by M subscript 1. All right. So this will be equals to, all right. So is either if you stand here, you can take your moment towards this side, or you can take it towards this side. Let's take it towards this side. So we are going to have ROB multiplied by total distance here. Our ROB is 25. It's going to be 25.93 multiplied by the total distance from here to here is 2.4. So this is going to be multiplied by 2.4 plus what? Okay, that is upward force, right? So yes, it's going to be positive. Then here too we have a point load, which is 20 times. So it's a downward force. It's going to be minus 20 times 1.2, right? All right, and then we have a uniform distributed load, which is 7, and it covers a total distance from this point to this point. It is 2.4. So it's going to be minus 7 multiplied by 2.4, and it's going to act at half of the distance. That is 2.4 divided by 2. So that's what we are going to have. So if you do your math carefully, you are going to have this to be equals to 18.072 kilo Newton meter. That is what we are going to have. All right, so this is our moment. Now that we have gotten the moment, now the next thing we are going to do now is to calculate the position of the neutral axis of this section. All right, so how do we do that? We are going to be using this formula to do that. All right, so this is a hollow object that comprises of a rectangular and a circle inscribed in it. So we are going to be having, let's talk, the first object here is 1, and this one is circular, which is 2. So we are going to have A1, Y1. All right, instead of us writing plus, because it is hollow, so it's going to be minus, and the minus is because of the cut part. So it's going to be minus A2 Y2, then divided by A1 minus A2. All right, so now let's find our A1. So our A1, that is the area of this rectangle. All right, so this is going to be 20 multiplied by 30. So 20 multiplied by 30, and 20 multiplied by 30 is going to give us what? 600 centimeter squared. All right, and our A2 is the area of this circle, which is what? Pi d squared all over what? 4. So this is pi multiplied by our d here. That is the diameter. You can see the diameter is 15. So it's going to be 15 squared divided by 4. And if you do your math carefully, you are going to have this to be 176.7 centimeter squared. All right, that is what we are going to have. So the next thing is to calculate our y1. Our y1 is going to be the center of gravity of A1 from the bottom face, that is from this point, and this is our rectangle, right? So let's calculate the center of gravity there. So it's going to be, the total distance is 30, so it's going to be 30 divided by 2. So this is going to be 15 centimeter. All right, so and our y2, so our y2 will be equals to, now don't forget that we are given from this point to this point to be 10, right? So it means that from this point to this point is going to be 30 minus 10, which is 20. So for us to get the center of gravity there is going to be 20 minus 10. So our center of gravity is going to be 20 minus 10, which is going to be equals to, 30 minus 10, which is going to be equals to 20 centimeter. All right, so now the next thing we are going to do now is for us to substitute these parameters here. So we are going to have our y bar to be equals to A1. A1 is 600, then multiply by y1, which is 15, minus A2. A2 is 176.2, then multiply by 20. Then everything divided by what? A1 minus A2, 600 minus 176.2. All right, so our y bar will be equals to, so if you do your math, you are going to have everything that we have here to be 5,466 divided by 600 minus this. You are going to have this to be 423.2, and if you divide this by this, you are going to have, 0.3 rather. All right, so if you divide this by this, you are going to have this to be 12.9 cm. So this is our y bar. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is for us to calculate the moment of inertia of this section here. So moment of inertia about the neutral axis. All right. So this is going to be I to be equals to I1 minus I2. I hope you know why it is minus, because it is hollow and because of the cutout part. All right. So now, next thing we are going to do here is our I1. So let's calculate our I1. It's going to be the moment of inertia of this rectangle. So the formula there is going to be BD cubed all over 12 plus A1 into, then check between your Y bar and your Y1, which one is greater. All right, Y1 is greater, so we are going to have Y1 minus Y bar all squared. All right, so let's clear off this side. All right, so now if we substitute there, this is I1. All right, so if we substitute there, our I1 will be equals to the base of the rectangle and the depth. The depth is 30, the base is 20. So it's going to be 20 multiplied by 30 cubed divided by 12 plus A1. Our A1 is 600 into, we have Y1. Our Y1 is nothing but what? 15. So 15 minus Y bar. What is Y bar? Y bar is 12.9 all squared. All right. So this will be equals to, so if you solve this, you press this in your calculator directly, you are going to have your Y1 to be nothing but 646. Yeah, I'm coming, please. All right, that's correct. So here we are going to have centimeter to the power of 4. All right, so please, here we are going to have I2, and don't forget our I2 is a circle, and the moment of inertia of a circle is nothing but what? Pi d to the power of 4 all over 64 plus what? Plus A2 into what? Check your Y bar and your Y2. Which one is greater? Y2 is greater, right? So Y2 is greater. We're going to have Y2 minus Y1 all squared. All right, so here we are going to have this to be equals to pi multiplied by 15 to the power of 4, because our diameter of the circle here is 15. So everything divided by 64, then plus A2. What is A2? A2 is 176.7 into Y2. Y2 is what? Y2 is 20 minus Y bar. Sorry, this is supposed to be Y bar. Y bar is what? Y bar is 12.9 squared. All right. So if you press this in your calculator directly, you are going to have your I2 to be what? Your I2 is going to be equals to 11393 centimeter to the power of 4. All right. So now we can now therefore calculate our I now. So our I is I1 minus, that is 47646 minus 11393. So this will be equals to what? If you subtract, you are going to have this to be 36253 centimeter to the power of 4. All right. So now the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to be taking this to be in meter, because our self weight here is in meter. So how do we take this to meter? We know if we want to take from centimeter to meter, we divide by 100. Since it's to the power of 4, so we are going to multiply this by we are going to raise it to the power of 4. So therefore we are going to have this to be equals to, this will be equals to 36253 multiplied by 10 to the power of minus 8 meter to the power of 4. All right. This is the value of our moment of inertia. All right. Now the question says we should calculate the maximum normal stress at section 1:1. So for you to calculate the maximum normal stress, you are going to be using your Flegerer formula. So from our Flegerer formula, we know that M all over I is going to be equals to tensile stress all over Y tensile equals to compressive stress all over Y comprehensive. All right. So now, and don't forget, our y bar here is 12.9 centimeter, right? So the 12.9 centimeter is from this point here, from the bottom to the neutral axis. All right. So, and don't forget, if we have a simple supported beam, when it bends, the bottom part is subjected to a tensile stress, while the top part is subjected to what? A comprehensive stress. So for us to answer this question correctly, we are going to check between the y tensile and y comprehensive to the neutral axis. We are going to be using the greater value there to analyze. So let's check. Now for our y tensile, we know our y tensile is going to be the same as y bar. So our y tensile is going to be 12.9. So our y comprehensive now, our y comprehensive is going to be what? 30 minus what? Minus 12.9. And 30 minus 12.9, 30 minus 12.9 is 17.1. So this is going to give us 17.1 cm. So the greater value there between the y tensile and y comprehensive is 17.1. So we are going to be calculating the tensile stresses now, because the question says we should calculate the maximum normal stress. So here we have established that 17.1 is the greatest here, so we'll be using it. So for us to use it, because it is y comprehensive, so we'll be calculating our compressive stress. So compressive stress is the maximum normal stress to this section here. So it's going to be, we are equating this to this, so it's going to be equal. If we make our comprehensive stress the subject, we are going to have m over I multiplied by y comprehensive. So if we substitute now, we have our maximum bending moment along this section II to be equals to, I just clean it, so but it's going to be equal, it was 18.072, then multiplied by 10 to the power of 3. I don't know if this stuff is not too clumsy. All right, then our y subscript c is 17.1 centimeter. So we are going to take it to what? Meter. So this is going to be multiplied by 17.1 times 10 to the power of minus 2. All right. So here, this is going to be divided by our I. Our I is nothing but what? Our I is nothing but 36253 multiplied by 10 to the power of -8. So if you do that, the answer for our maximum comprehensive stress will be equals to, if you multiply this and you divide by this, is going to give you 8.52. 8.52 times 10 to the power of 6. So our unit is going to be what? Newton per what? Newton per meter squared, which you can further rewrite as 8.52 mega Newton per meter squared. So here is the solution to the above question. So I believe we understand this clearly. So please don't forget to share this video with your friends who might be in need of it. And if today is your first time of coming across our content, please don't forget to subscribe and on your notification bell, so that each time we upload videos like this, you'll be the first to get it. Thanks. Stay tuned.